doing what you have to do, when you have to do it, as well as you can do it. That's toughness.
I had my own vision in mind of like what success was, right? And when I played lacrosse, I knew where I wanted to be. I knew I wanted to go to West Point. I didn't apply to any other schools. I knew I wanted to play Division I lacrosse, and that's where I was going to go.
We had our opportunities towards the end, and just fell a little short.
Toughness defines special operations and the sport of lacrosse. Toughness requires a person to deal with hardship, overcome difficult situations, persevere through mental and physical challenges. Toughness is one part natural, one part learned, and one part the result of consistency. To excel as a Green Beret, Navy SEAL, or a lacrosse athlete, you better be tough. Joe Alberici and Ben Harrow are two of the toughest men I know. Joe's the head coach of men's lacrosse at West Point, and Ben is an old friend, West Point lacrosse alumni, Green Beret, and double-leg amputee. Coach and Ben joined me to recap the Stars and Stripes Classic, what it meant for our Green Berets and Navy SEALs to face off on the lacrosse field, how we build teams based on being tough, and what it takes to win no matter the challenge, whether that's on the playing field, the battlefield, or the boardroom. Take a listen and watch or read our conversation with two tough men. Then head over to our YouTube channel or your favorite podcast platform to catch all the action from the Stars and Stripes Classic. Coach A, Stars and Stripes Classic just ended. We're sitting here in the end zone at Gillette Stadium. You had the opportunity to coach the game, develop these guys over the last couple of days. Not necessarily the result on the scoreboard we were looking for as the Green Beret Foundation, but a win all around for a lot of different reasons. What's your thoughts?
Well, listen, just the opportunity to work with these guys, the word that comes to mind is elite. A lot of these guys haven't played a lot of lacrosse. They're doing a hell of a lot more important stuff, which I am appreciative of for myself and for my family. But the competitiveness, down 6-1, the way the guys scrapped back, I felt like they really took it to them throughout, and we just came up a little bit short in the end. But I thought they wore the jersey, honored the jersey in the right way, as one would expect.
Yeah. They were down 6-1, and we weren't worried. Honestly, we weren't worried about it. We said, like, hey, look, these guys it's not gonna be like this.
Yeah.
They're gonna get it together. I mean, what did you think? You had a chance, as I said, over the last couple of days to really work with them. We checked in with you every day. There wasn't a whole lot of scheming. It was a physical game.
Yeah.
But when you look at the defense's ability to get out there, play as a unit, the offensive ability to just get out there and put some plays together, how would you break it down?
Yeah, listen, I thought really the game started to change in the second quarter, about midway through. What I had said to him in the huddle, down 4-1, down 5-1, I just said, listen, this is not indicative of. This score is not indicative of like what's going on right now, or what I'm looking at athletically, what I'm looking at in terms of skills. It didn't seem to be like a 5-1, 6-1 game. We gave up a two-pointer, and then they responded. End of the second quarter, two more goals, going down 6-3, get the first one coming out of the half, and won the third quarter 7-6. And what we were struggling with a little bit at that point was clearing the ball, and maybe playing a little bit too much defense at that point. But got to tip my hat to the defensive guys. Our goaltending, exceptional. Like guys, a few of those guys I coached back at West Point a long time ago. It didn't look like they missed too much of a step, to be truthful. They were as tough and as tenacious as I remember it when I was coaching them. So really proud of them, really proud of the whole team. Again, 6-1, probably nobody blinks an eye if you wave the white flag at that point, but that's just not in the DNA here. And the guys just kept battling, and again, had our opportunities towards the end, and just fell a little short. Clock got a little short on us. I'm not sure we lost it. I think just the time ran out.
Yeah.
What an amazing first execution of this game. Yeah. The Green Beret Foundation, the SEALs, the PLL. It just gave everyone involved such an incredible experience, and I'm grateful to have been part of number one.
Yeah. I want to talk about toughness. You talk about toughness a lot. And those who don't know, Ben, lost both of his legs in an IED strike in Afghanistan. And also a West Point lacrosse player, knows you well.
Yeah.
Toughness that is learned on the field of lacrosse, it permeates through your body and your character in anything that you do.
Yeah, let me tell you, my story about Ben Harrow is I competed against him. I was an assistant coach at Duke University, and we played him a couple of times, and just an absolute warrior out there. You know, short stick team idiot, toughest thing to play. And then we got reconnected in Walter Reed, and I don't know exactly how long Ben had been there at that point, but I had later become the head coach, and wanted to go down and see him, and went down there, and the absolute look in his eye of like, let me tell you what I'm doing, and I'm like, all right, I left no doubt. Like what you saw right there was like, it's just everything that he said at that moment, just coming to fruition. The guy is an absolute animal, an amazing husband, father, has really gotten himself, with a business acumen, and now he's just, serving in other ways. It's just that inspiration to me, inspiration to the Army Lacrosse family, and an inspiration to the Green Beret.
Yeah.
I can just leave now.
That's it. Mic drop. Why is toughness so important, though? And why you got to teach it at an early level?
Yeah, it's really listen, there's a lot of other people that are a whole hell of a lot tougher than me, and I'm sitting here talking toughness to a room of Green Beret, and I'm the softest guy in the place. But it's more along the lines of how I define it, doing what you have to do, when you have to do it, as well as you can do it. That's toughness, and doing it every time. I'm not a big guy, a big fan of 110%. I don't believe in that. But toughness is when you're 100% of the time, and doing that in less than ideal situations. I think toughness is always equated around physical toughness, and certainly there's an element to it, but the mental toughness, the toughness that you have to show to have courage, to step outside yourself and see other people, that's tough. It's so easy to turn inward and think about who you are and what you got to do and what you're going to get out of this situation. And when you look at a Green Beret, that's not what they're doing. Those guys were throughout 4 days, and anyone I've ever met, grateful for everything, entitled to nothing. Grateful for everything, entitled to nothing. And these are guys that, for what they've done for our country, should be entitled to a lot. And that's just not how they look at it. That's toughness. That's toughness. They think outside of themselves. They think about what job that needs to be done that, others aren't capable of, or others choose not to do. And either or is not really a matter, but they see it, and they're willing to step up and do it. And, and last night I talked about toughness. As tough as these guys are, the families are the tougher ones to me. I just that's when I think of toughness. And if you look, you can see the hair on my arm sticking up right now. Like to as a child or as a wife, girlfriend, to allow your significant person, the most significant person in your life, go do something for others. And not bitch and whine about it. Just say, hey, I got to take care. Here's the people at home. I got to take care of it. And and the leaders in that group, how they take care of other soldiers and their families. Like as hard as what those guys are doing, I would tell you it is infinitely tougher doing what they do, because they don't know. They don't know what is happening and what's going on out there, and they're not. Often they're left in the dark about it, because they have to be. But yet to have that sort of toughness to, take care of the things that need to be taken care of back home, that's toughness, So there's a lot of ways to define it. Maybe one thing that I've brought to that part of toughness is gotten it outside of the physical, and tried to bring to light for young kids what toughness really looks like, and in the different forms, real toughness takes place.
There's a shirt that I got from Coach A one of the times where I was back up at school talking to the team, or whether he came down to see me at the hospital. Like, I still have it. It's all like weathered and old, but like it's one of those shirts I'll never get rid of. And it says West Point Orbit Lacrosse, but on the back it says family, toughness, tradition. And it was those like 3 principles that I think that Coach A brought to the team, that us as alumni have loved to see the past almost 20 years that you've been the head coach, and really instill in the program. And I think that's part of the reason why we've always been a competitive team, but now we're a really competitive team. And we're all just waiting around, like, we're like, this is gonna be it. This is the year we're gonna go to the Final Four, and we're knocking on that door now.
Yeah. Well, the school year's starting. So after this, you're going to get sucked back up into West Point, and your vacation's going to be over. You're going to get back at it because the season, you're going to start your off-season activities and then get ready for the spring. But you're right that the Army program has come a long way. And when we think about great lacrosse teams and great lacrosse programs out there, I didn't go to West Point, but I'm honored as a Green Beret and as an Army veteran to say that our West Point team is up there competing at the elite level. Talk about the preparation now that's going to go into this season.
Yeah, listen, it's just the habits that we're developing right now, are just lagging measures of the success we're going to have in the springtime. So our guys, on Friday morning, I came up here to Boston on Thursday. Friday morning, 5:30 a.m. lift, and then there's a dozen of them that took aside Coach Lewis, our assistant coach, asked him to do shooting, so now they're scoring, and then they're going to go down and take calculus, and then they're, and then they're going to head to boxing class, and then they're going to, and then it's physics. So, listen, nobody on the outside feels sorry for our guys because they have to do all of those other things. So I don't feel sorry for them either, and that's what makes them special, is their desire to be special, and the fact that they have chosen to do the extra stuff, that is sharpening them and making them soon to be elite people, elite men that are going to serve our country in some capacity. So, it has been a strong culture throughout. Guys absolutely love to see the Ben Harrows and his classmates and the guys who have come before him. The greatest way to honor the tradition is to try and build upon it, and they know the men that came before them. It's when they come see us, like, our guys are locked in, I don't know, were you out at our practice on Sunday?
Yep.
There was 30 guys that were up here on leave, and they all came to this Green Beret practice, and I didn't ask them to, I told them what time the practice was, and I changed practice around a little bit just to get it a little bit later, 10 a.m. But those guys, they've got limited time away, could have been anywhere, but just who they look up to, and they wanted to be around it, and it was probably, for me personally, the coolest part of the whole weekend is to watch my current players mingle with some of my former players, former West Point guys, and just Green Beret, and they were on the field for 45 minutes afterwards, just changing, exchanges, conversation, just really was the coolest part of the weekend for me, to kind of see those worlds meshing.
Yeah, I know you had called me, and I missed your call because I was grabbing a ride with Fran. But I was so pissed because I wanted you to go have lunch with some of the guys from the team this year, just to be able to sit down and chat with them.
Yeah. It's so they're awesome guys, and they're just they're trying to carry on what Ben and all the guys that came before them. It's just elite. I would put it this: good, very good to excellent lacrosse players, but elite human beings, and that's really my messaging to our guys. That's what we aspire to, because if you can be an elite human being, you know what? you'll probably be a pretty darn good Army lacrosse player.
Yeah.
You know, but if you just aspire to be a great lacrosse player, that's not necessarily going to put you as an elite human being. So, you know, we try to take that little holistic approach at West Point. You know, we've got our own words and terms for it, but I think it falls really in line with West Point and you know what West Point stands for, and I think it really is in lockstep with the Army, the Greater Army, and you know what they want and what they want in their leaders.
Yeah. Well, you talked about the extra work, and I often think as it's getting tied up behind us. So we got the Chaos are playing the Cannons right now in the first game for the quarterfinals here.
Hey, that's all bullshit. They're just cheering for Benny Harrow. That's all.
That's right. That was for you. They witnessed what you did.
As a cheer for Ben.
Well, we're sitting right here by the Bud Light booth over here where they're all slamming them behind us. But it's that extra work. You know, like we're sitting here in Gillette Stadium. There's 6 banners sitting up there, and everybody thinks that those 6 banners got earned in the time that the coach had them on the practice field behind the stadium. When in reality, those 6 banners got earned in the off time.
Yeah.
When the players were not on the coach's time, when they had to go do those other things. You know, Ben, what you've gone through and how you've come back didn't happen because the doctors sat there and said, here's what you have to do, man. It happened because you had a different vision for yourself.
I had my own vision in mind of like what success was, right? And when I played lacrosse, I knew where I wanted to be. I knew I wanted to go to West Point. I didn't apply to any other schools. I knew I wanted to play Division I lacrosse, and that's where I was going to go. And I ended up going there. I was an all-state attackman in high school. Little did I know that Coach Emmer was going to make me a midi and then eventually a defensive midi. But I was starting and playing D1 lacrosse and making an impact. And to me, that's what was the most important thing, was going out there and making an impact and being a guy that you had to watch out for. Like I'm gonna. That's my ground ball. Like I'm gonna fight you to the death for that ground ball. And I kind of took that same attitude with my rehab and recovery of, I'm not just going to lay here and have rehab dictated to me. I'm going to figure this out, and I'm going to get myself up and walking.
Game's over now. What'd you tell the team after this game?
Well, I want to be careful with these guys and make sure, like, hey, listen, I'm not giving you an attaboy. You know, nobody came here to come in second. So I didn't want to take that approach fully, because I wanted to recognize like that these guys wanted to win, and they played to want to win. I was just really proud of them, you know, and I was thankful for the opportunity to work with them. I was thankful for their attitude, their coachability throughout. You know, kind of all the things that make them a great soldier. You know, the fact that they're selfless. You know, that they'll do whatever it takes to be a little better. Like when I was telling, you know, we were a little short on some short stick DMs, and I'm hitting guys up like right before the game, like, hey, listen, make sure you got a short stick that you can throw with. Might have to get you in there, coach. Whatever you need, like that. Like I didn't even get it out of my, you know, the whole sentence out. No, whatever you need, coach. Do whatever you want. And you know. I was just appreciative of that. I was appreciative of their response down 6-1. You know, I think that tells a little part of the greater part of who they are than what the final score did.
Yeah. I totally forgot until you said it in the locker room that we were down 6-1 at one point, because it didn't feel that way. It felt like we were just right on the cusp every time of coming back. And you saw it at the end. We were. I mean, so I felt we were so close to tying it up and sending it into OT. Yeah.
Well, the good news is everyone's agreed it's an inaugural event, and this was the first one. So that means that training for next year starts today.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of folks. Yeah. We've been getting all the messages. There are a lot of folks out there who want to play next year who didn't get the message this year. But now they got the message because it was broadcast on ESPN Plus. It went out to the world. Everybody, and PLL did a fantastic job of promoting this thing, as did both foundations. And your team next year, I think, is going to be some selection process.
Yeah.
That's gonna have to happen.
Well, we have a saying around there, around the staff, and it goes. It's like from like maybe a John Wayne movie or something like that. the price of corn is going up.
It is. Well, thank you, Coach, for all the effort you put into this. I know from the foundation, from the guys, they couldn't be more appreciative of the guidance, of the instruction, of the patience that you had with them, and about setting the example and showing them that, hey, this is a once-in-a-lifetime event, and you got to get out there and give it your all, regardless of what happens at the end of the day. The military won, DOD won today.
Yeah,
okay,
no
we
doubt.
got out here and we got our message out.
Yeah, DOD won, and anybody who watched this, any citizen out here, United States, they won today too. It was really special.
Yeah, we need more Green Berets and SEALs, so let's get them out there.
Yeah, exactly.
So, good luck this season.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Coach,
Yeah,
always a
appreciate
pleasure,
you.
man. Appreciate it.